Dank.
Sick, dink. Sick. Welcome everyone back to the Jenna Julien Podcast.
Yeah!
I've been sick the last couple of days.
Oh, Julie.
But she's taking care of me.
He got really sick.
I did. Thank you for
I haven't
taking
seen you
care of
that
me,
sick like in years.
I haven't gotten that sick in years.
Yeah.
That was weird. And it came out of literal nowhere.
I know, you went to LA Fitness and came back crippled.
That's actually what happened.
I know. I was like, where did you go that I didn't go and got so sick? And it was LA Fitness one time.
Very weird.
You went to the gym, got super sick.
I did.
Story of Julian's weekend.
But you took great care of me, so thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
This episode of the Jenna Julien Podcast is brought to you by NatureBox. NatureBox delivers tasty snacks made with simple ingredients right to your door. So you have always something better to snack on. Delicious, delicious snacks, guys. Like blueberry almost quinoa bites,
Bomb.
tart and tangy fruit medley,
Bomb.
Big Island pineapple. Like, you could get me started. I would go all day.
Bomb.
Right now, you can get 2 free snacks by going to naturebox.com/Jenna Julien. That's naturebox.com/Jenna Julien. Also sponsored by Texture. Guys, I know how frustrating it is to read magazines. Anytime I pick up a magazine, I feel like it's already old and it's not for me. Texture makes that experience way better. You can read magazines all through the app that is delivered right to your phone or tablet. Basically, Texture is an app that gives you an all-access pass to the world's best magazines right on your phone or tablet. You can browse hundreds of magazines and cherry-pick the articles that interest you, not the person who read them before you, who are sitting in your chair before you. Hey. Right now, you can get a free trial by going to texture.com/Jenna Julien. That's texture.com/Jenna Julien. Thank you, sponsors.
So much better than buying magazines at the airport. That used to be my old habit, to go buy a magazine to read on the plane.
They upsell you at the airport, too.
Oh my God, they're so expensive.
They upsell you everywhere.
I feel like I wouldn't always buy magazines, like sometimes at the grocery store, sometimes at the airport, but like always, if I was getting on a flight before there were like TVs, I was like, oh, I'll just go buy a magazine or two, you know? And then I'm like, why did this cost $70?
$70. Literally.
$70.
Literally $70.
I need those dollars back. Anyways, we wanted to do this podcast because people have been asking our opinion about it, and we haven't addressed it.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about it briefly in a vlog, but that's not the same.
I didn't watch that vlog yet. I usually watch all of your vlogs, and I haven't watched it yet.
I'm offended. No, basically I was just like, so this happened. This is a thing that's happened. And yes, it is scary. And I basically, it was the first day it happened. So I took a screenshot of Phil DeFranco's tweet. I talked about it for a second. I really didn't go in depth. But.
Is that, okay. So yeah, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, do you have the new terms of service?
Yeah. Well, I have screenshots. Okay. So sections of it.
I first found out about it from Phil DeFranco's tweet and video. But basically, although Ian was saying something about they just made a change to it. I don't know, whatever. YouTube changed part of their terms of service to include some new things that are very vague, which make it seem like they could cut off anyone's ability to monetize under these new restrictions.
Yeah. Let me find it's on his profile. I'm just going to find a Philly D's profile, but yeah, he basically a couple days ago, like almost a week ago, like last week, Phil DeFranco got a bunch of his videos unmonetized and it came out of nowhere. They hit him pretty hard and he was, as a lot of people were, pretty confused by it. And here is the new thing that came out. Is a screenshot, but this is a part of the new, I guess, terms of service, the updated terms of service that they released, although they technically have been abiding by this since 2014. Content that is considered inappropriate for advertising. Sexually suggestive content, including partial nudity and sexual humor. Violence, including display of serious injury and offense related to violent extremism. Inappropriate language, including harassment, swearing, and vulgar language. Swearing, like, that's crazy. Promotion of drugs and regulated substances, including selling, use of abusive terms such as controversial or sensitive subjects, events including subjects related to war, political conflicts, natural disasters, tragedies, even if graphic imagery is not shown. So, yeah, so this basically what happened. This came out. It got a lot of people talking because it was like, wait a minute, Phil DeFranco is a news channel and he's in a way being censored, because, you know, a lot of people are like, it's not censorship. Yeah, of course it's not censorship. They're not putting a black bar over his whole video and muting all of his channel, but they're making the incentive for him to make any videos very, very decreased if they're going to demonetize everything he puts up. So a lot of you guys understand, you realize the biggest incentive, you know, as much as we may love making videos, but a big incentive to make videos as a YouTuber, especially a large one, is monetizing those videos, because it lets you eat. It lets you create those videos for next week. And when YouTube is changing the terms of service or changing their methods of how they're going about allowing monetization, like kind of at the snap of a finger, it's very scary. So this all went down last week. And we needed to get on here and talk about it because we have opinions about it.
Well, I mean, some people have come forward and said that their videos are being like unmonetized.
Yeah.
Rob Dyke, Phil DeFranco. Rob Dyke, who does like Seriously Strange, he curates, you know, a bunch of scary facts and things like that and turns it into a show. But basically just, you know, some gore, some scary stuff.
Zombie Horse. He has a series called Zombie Horse. And why would you put that on the internet? He did mention, though, one of his videos that was unmonetized had no graphic content in it. Yeah.
Megan Tonjes made a video talking about how a couple of her videos got unmonetized that were talking about rape or rape culture.
Yeah.
Even though they were not in the tags. It was maybe just a topic of conversation. H3H3 made a video saying, like, guys, the only thing that you need to do here is just take it out of the tags, take it out of the title, you know, take any controversial words out of your title, and then you can monetize it. So don't say rape, don't say, you know, different controversial words. I don't know what other specific ones that were getting popped for that.
Drugs.
Yeah, Brock Turner.
Suicide.
Yes,
stuff like that.
Kill yourself, like those things.
Yeah.
But that doesn't fix the problem. That addresses, that like puts a Band-Aid on if you're making content on YouTube and you want to be able to monetize, dance around these topics. But that doesn't like face the larger issue, which is we are now facing the idea, because, you know, swearing is one thing. And I will say, no, I personally have not gotten any of my videos popped or hit for getting unmonetized. Yeah. And I will talk about that in a little bit, why I think that might be. But the real issue is censorship, and that we use YouTube as YouTubers as a platform. We use it as a community. We use it as a place of discussion for a free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas, where people can be themselves and talk about what they want and say what they want, and reach a lot of people doing that. And by this system being implemented, yeah, you can dance around and make ways so that you can monetize those videos. But the end of the story is that this is fucking censorship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You are deeming which videos and which content is worthy of being monetized or advertiser friendly, which, you know, if you were to look down a telescope of what that looks like in the future, the people making absolute fluff content and have nothing to say in them that might be perceived as controversial, like this entire podcast, a lot of people's entire channels and podcasts, we can't say that and still make money. So YouTube would just be filled with challenge videos and cat videos, and everything that you want to find might be hard to find, or might not get made at all or said at all, because people don't have endless free hours and resources and equipment to make the type of videos that they would like.
For free.
For free.
Yeah. And okay, so an interesting fact is the change of terms, service of terms, whatever, have recently come out, you know, in forms of like emails and notifications on YouTube's dashboard and stuff like that. So people are seeing this language that they've never seen before. Advertiser friendly. That's language that people haven't seen before. Mm-hmm. There is an interesting thing though. Supposedly videos have been being unmonetized or demonetized for like 2 years now. And now is just when they're notifying you about it. So the scariest part is like, maybe like a year and a half ago, I had a bad streak of like 3 months where I made bad money. And I was always wondering why that happened. There was no reason why I should have made that money. All my views were the same. Maybe that's why. Maybe they demonetized some of your videos and never told you about it. And I think, H3 did mention this, the problem with YouTube's communication with its users, like a lot of what they do just doesn't ever get explained, which is so frustrating. And, as someone, obviously we're YouTubers, but just to see, like, for instance, when I saw this happen, I scrambled. I went in my video manager and it took me a long time because you have to go page by page by page and search for that little yellow money symbol. Hank Green wrote an awesome article kind of explaining the whole situation. And one of the things he says YouTube should do is make it so there's a section in your dashboard now for demonetized videos. So you can easily find it. But it seems as though they've made that less convenient on purpose. Right. Like they don't want you to see what's not being monetized. It's very weird. And I don't know. There's a lot, there's like a lot of, where do you want to go now?
Okay. So I want this discussion to be reasons why you think this is, because there's two theories that I can think of off the top of my head. And one is being heavily discussed and the other one is not that I can find, which is frustrating me, but it's also fucking controversial. And I understand, if you don't know me or you haven't watched some of our other podcasts, you know that I am deep fucking in the rabbit hole of conspiracy theories. So this is where my brain goes to default. So I promise you I'm not a crazy person, but this is something that I've thought about, and we'll talk about that second. First of all, the one that is being talked about is that this is YouTube's way of cherry picking which content they like and which content they don't like and which ones they want to become popular and not. So if you look at YouTube in the past, I'd say specifically a year, you have, Keemstar, you have Leafy, you have Rice Gum, you have these videos, which, let me just sidetrack for 1 second. When that whole YouTube is changing thing is going on, it really upset me a little bit, and I would just like to say that these types of things have always existed, like talking about YouTubers or even talking about celebrities. The demand for that service has always been there. So these channels in and of themselves are not the problem, because as long as people are willing and want to watch them, they will always exist. Okay. So I don't think that these people are terrible people. Okay, yeah. I mean, you can think about what you want about them personally or whatever, but the idea of a YouTuber news channel is not new, and people want to see that. Like YouTuber gossip and shit. It's like, they're way far behind Guru Gossip. Yeah. Guru Gossip, the website, has been around since forever. And covering internet. Yeah, and people want to gossip and talk about YouTubers and what they do in their personal lives and whatever. It's not a new thing. But if you were, an executive at YouTube, and you see all of these channels, sort of designed to have what you could see as a mean-spirited outlook on the internet, Rice Gum roasting kids and Leafy making fun of kids, and there being an issue with that. Yeah. And say YouTube didn't like that. Well, let's just rewrite the language in the terms of service so it makes it so we can cut off their monetization and, in theory, control what's popular on our website and what's not. Well, because they've clearly lost control of being able to deem what people watch and what they don't watch. So, for instance, if YouTube saw Leafy, start his channel however long ago, I don't know how long ago he started his channel, and they thought to themselves, this may not be the greatest thing to be on our website, but, we'll figure it out. Right. And then Leafy blew up and and then YouTube kind of lost all control as to whether or not people could watch him or not. This does seem like kind of a last ditch effort to throw a blanket on the entire platform and say, okay, we might be fucking X amount of people who are completely innocent here, but we need to do this to make it so we can have control again. Right. So that's one theory that I've seen floating around, that they want to cherry pick which content they like and don't like. And remember, we've talked about this stuff on the podcast in the past, where the Sam Pepper thing, when people were flipping out and being like, here's a petition, we want YouTube to delete his channel. And I stood firm in that podcast and said, this is opening Pandora's box. The second that YouTube decides or has an opinion about which content they like and don't like and start cherry picking, you've opened a world of hurt. You know what I mean? They have to stay laissez-faire, and they have for many, 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 many years. 10 fucking years. They've stayed as hands off as possible. And the terms of service are there so that they can say, okay, we don't want porn and really awful videos on here.
Yeah.
And this is what we mean by that. And we will enforce that rule, but that's it. Everything else we have to just let be because we cannot start cherry picking content.
Yeah. Another thing I want to mention, a lot of people have mentioned, like on Twitter and such, that in the end, the advertisers are going to deem what is allowed to be monetized. Like the advertisers will have the final say. It's not YouTube's choice, this and that. And while that does make sense, like on paper, what's been happening for the last 10 years, for the last 11 years. Like there's been crazy inappropriate videos being monetized for like so long. What's suddenly changed where advertisers are like, oh, now we're changing it. Like that seems weird.
Think of Rihanna's Vivo channel and how many of those videos show actual nipples and full ass.
Yeah. And like there are always going to be advertisers that are willing to advertise differently than other advertisers. And that's just the nature of marketing. So for someone to like try to explain this whole situation by saying advertisers have spoken, you know, this is what they want. No, because that's kind of just like one answer trying to answer 10 questions.
Right. Well, that also boils down to the fact that it seems like if you were to look at it this way, that YouTube has sided with dollars. They've sided with the advertisers, which is not a good idea ever. Because now no matter what way you cut it up, YouTube, I imagine, has this feeling like we created this great platform for everyone. You guys sort of are indebted to us and, you know, we pay you and we do all of this. But at the end of the day, when we say jump, you say how high. Yeah. You know, they're the end all be all. They make the rules and we abide by them. Whereas in the YouTube community, I feel it's very much like, you know, we appreciate that YouTube made this platform, but we also made it what it is. And I've heard that a million times from other YouTubers, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that you have complaints maybe sometimes about the way that this corporation is treating you because you don't think it's fair and you would like a little bit different treatment or you would like things to be a little bit better because you are the person that is driving the traffic to the website. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now YouTube has made it very clear with this statement that they are siding with the people that are paying for the website instead of the people who are making the website.
Yeah.
And it's just not a good idea ever. It's not going to make your creators feel good. It's not going to do anything except put money in your pocket. But also, like, how does this fucking work?
Yeah.
How does this work? How are you guys going to make more money this way? If anything, you'd make less money this way.
And we only know what we know, but it feels like the amount of communication YouTube has with its creators, even the top creators like you, is so minimal that it begs the question of, I wonder if they have this bad communication with the advertisers or with other certain creators or with other interests.
I imagine.
They definitely don't.
Yeah, and
they have better communication because it can't get much worse than the communication they have with us.
And I'm not trying to shit talk YouTube because I have been pretty honest about how I feel about YouTube and how I feel about everything.
But yet, hold on, you also have been very loyal to the platform in a number of ways for a number of years.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't hear anything before this happened, probably because I don't think that YouTube deemed it anything worthy of alerting everyone about, you know. But I also, what was I just going to fucking say? I just forgot. I also do know in my experience with working with YouTube is that sometimes it can be very frustrating. Even like when Phil DeFranco said that, you know, his manager or producer or whatever was on the phone with YouTube. I know what those conversations with YouTube are like. It's like they have, no matter who you're speaking with, they have this diction, this planned language that it seems a lot like you're talking to robots sometimes, the way that they answer your questions. They're not, they can say, you know, I can't really talk about that, or, you know, I'm not at liberty to say what the answer is to that. I don't know, but we'll let you know. You know, they're like very nice, polite, legal robots in how they deal with your concerns.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating. It does a lot of times feel like you're dealing with an entity that just doesn't actually really care about you as a person, which sucks. But at the same time, you have to understand why they have to act that way or why they might act that way.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say it. Matthew Santoro had tweeted out that YouTube is a business and they're allowed to do whatever they want in order to help their business. And you had tweeted at him that that made you upset because, people's livelihoods are on the line here, which is true. Yeah. And what YouTube is doing is not right. And everyone knows that. So like, do I think YouTube is a business? Yeah, of course. But should they be acting like this?
No.
No. Should they be dealing with their creators the way that they have in the past? No. But that's well known and everyone knows that.
No. And now
although this past time, the grade A, under A, make YouTube great again, that was the first time
that they
actually addressed it because people made a big enough deal about it.
Yeah. It's true. And now that you brought that up, the whole thing about, I said it in a vlog, I was basically like, this decision or this kind of whirlwind of change that's freaking a lot of people out is causing sort of sides to be taken amongst YouTubers. These sides are, well, I have to really worry now for my content because all of my content has everything on this list or maybe some of this stuff on this list that could very well like change my future as a YouTuber. And then the other half is like, well, no, my content's clean. I have nothing to worry about. YouTube, do what you got to do. And I just had a problem with that tweet that Matthew Santoro tweeted where it was like, guys, everything's going to be fine. No one worry. Like, this is all good. YouTube's a business. They're taking care of themselves. I thought that was a really convenient time to tweet that, especially because, well, because his content is clearly clean. There's not going to be any sort of censorship on his content no matter what. And he knows that. And also, like, it's frustrating that you can be a fair weathered fan sometimes. You can be, this is us YouTubers as a community all the time. And then once you have this happen, you're like going to take YouTube's side and throw everyone under the bus.
Just because it's not your problem doesn't mean it's not a problem
that exists. Exactly.
And it's really crippling people's livelihoods. Yeah. And rule number 1 of fucking life, in my opinion, is you don't fuck with other people's money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You do not fuck with people's money. Yeah. And this is YouTube doing something and changing how they pay people, and that's fucking with people's livelihoods.
Yeah.
And these people have a right to be angry and upset and want answers.
And they have a right to get answers. Like you said, when the Make YouTube Great Again campaign kind of took off and literally forced YouTube to change stuff, that was the first time that it happened, and it was pretty impressive and kind of wonderful how that went down.
I agree. Well, I mean, I'm hoping, and I've said this before, that YouTube continues to be its own self-policing entity, you know, and YouTube designed the platform in that way by being so laissez-faire, by having intentionally vague terms of service. And I don't think that this is an exception to that. And people are upset with the vague language, but this is how they're able to let people police themselves as much as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
By just leaving it open-ended, and then you have people like Grade A, and you have, the whole community of people uprising against this copyright issue and blah, blah, blah. So that when things arise and are a problem, we can unite together and create whatever the fuck, get something done, basically.
Yeah, make change.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take a quick second to thank the sponsors real quick. This episode is brought to you by NatureBox, guys. They deliver the tasty, wonderful snacks right to your door with simple ingredients. They have over 100 delicious snacks to choose from, ranging from healthy to indulgent.
And they're bomb as fuck.
Yes, they are really good, all with no artificial flavors.
I found some in my car the other day, and I was so excited.
And the problem is, like, they send us snacks for this because we subscribe and stuff.
And then we eat them before so we have them for the podcast.
We never leave any over. That's literally how good they are. They have all sorts. You guys know how much I love the strawberry starfruit ones. Those are amazing. Salt and vinegar veggie chips, peanut butter nom noms. They have a whole bunch of surprisingly like vegan and gluten-free options, which is really, really great. As you guys know, makes it possible for us to eat them. They have savory. They have sweet. Like, the list goes on, and I can't tell you how good these snacks are. So go get yourself some NatureBox snacks, guys. Go to naturebox.com/Jenna Julien. You pick your snacks and you enjoy. It's that simple. You literally go on and you choose what snacks you'd like, and it's a subscription, so they'll send it to you every single month. And if you'd like to change up your subscription, you can change it. And they're very great. If you don't like a snack, you can send it back and they will replace it. NatureBox is good to you. Check them out. naturebox.com/Jenna Julien. Get 2 free snacks. Also, this week we are sponsored by Texture. Guys, like I was saying before, I feel like magazines are a great concept, but somehow are really outdated in how they are.
True.
So the fact that Texture is able to really cultivate all of the greatness of magazines and reading magazines into one app that's really well designed is a great thing. It gives you an all access pass to the world's best magazines right on your phone or tablet. like I said, they cherry pick articles that interest you. So they have an editorial team at Texture that recommends stories for you based on what you're reading. So, say you're reading Billboard or Canadian Business or whatever, they're going to find certain articles that you might like to read, and they're going to put it in the suggestions tab for you, which is really great because it's, it's like one of your friends being like, hey, check out this article. And, sometimes you really might like it, or you might find a new magazine that you never thought you would have read before.
You.
So, check out Texture, guys. You can get a free trial right now and just test it out for free. Absolutely free right now. Go to texture.com/Jenna Julien. You'll gain unrestricted access to the world's best magazines, from back issues to one on newsstands today. Check it out. Thank you to our sponsors.
Awesome. Thank you, sponsors.
All right. Well,
do you want to transition into theory number 2?
I think it's about time. I think if you can brace yourselves, guys, our bodies are ready for the other theory on what's going on. So
this theory, I have not seen anyone really talk about this. It is my own theory. I'm a Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs conspiracy fan, and I don't think it's too far-fetched, honestly. Do you? It's not like the craziest conspiracy theory you've ever heard.
It is definitely a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's a theory.
But it's not the craziest one I've ever heard. It's still a very conspiracy theory. It's conspiracy-y, yes. But no, it's not absolutely insane, and I think it's worth talking about. We don't absolutely believe this. We're not insane people, but it's worth thinking about.
Please take this with a grain of salt.
This is sort of like a half conspiracy podcast now, okay? So this is not us telling you guys what we believe.
Here we go.
Here we go.
You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm just going to say it the way that it happened.
Yeah.
Phil DeFranco came out with this, and I, of course, click on it. I'm looking at his tweet, at his video, whatever. So first thing that I do naturally is go into my analytics, and I'm like, no swearing. My entire channel is going to be unmonetized. Like, time to get a new job, fam. You know what I mean? Like, if my channel's unmonetized,
if it's that simple,
podcast is definitely unmonetized.
Every single vlog of mine,
everything is down, right? Because everyone's like, no swearing, no talking about controversial topics, no sexual shit, no nudity, no drinking, like no drug abuse, like. Even though I don't do any drugs on my channel, by some stretch of the imagination, all of my drunk videos are now unmonetized, right? Yep. So I'm logging onto my fucking shit, just prepared for the worst. Nothing. I see nothing. All of my old videos that have gotten age restricted are not monetized, or some of those that have copyright music, like super old. Nothing within the last however many years has been unmonetized. And I'm like, fuck is this shit? Like, what the fuck is this? So a couple of thoughts run through my mind, right? Maybe because I'm within some top percentile of creators, maybe they're giving us more leniency. Maybe they're not exactly enforcing this swearing rule, depending on what the content is. Maybe if it's in terms of like bullying or using it directed at someone, they deem that as excessive swearing. I'm just sort of like thinking about why or what or whatever the fuck. So I sort of go back to Philip DeFranco's whole explanation, and it sort of just dawns on me that Philip DeFranco is reporting the news. Why is he getting hit
harder than anyone?
Why is Rob Dyke? Why are these people talking about controversial topics and mostly news? And you can chime in the comments and tell me I'm wrong, or, say that I'm misinformed, because that's totally a possibility, because all this entire theory hinges on what I'm saying right now, which in and of itself could be wrong. But I'm like, why in 2016, after 10 years of YouTube being so incredibly hands-off about what people post on YouTube, why have they now just decided that we don't want people to talk about the news and controversial topics? Because if this was about swearing, drinking, drugs, bullying, if it was really about the first theory that we talked about cherry picking which channels they want and which ones they don't, my channel would be wiped. PewDiePie, like every gamer that swears would be wiped. All of the channels talking
any gaming
that could
channel be
perceived as bullying would be wiped. A lot of the top channels on YouTube would be wiped of monetization.
I would say the majority of channels.
Yeah. And everyone's just fine. So, not to contradict our first theory, but to offer an alternative to the first theory is that maybe it's not about, making these channels that are popular unpopular or censoring swear words or really about advertising. There's a possibility that this is about something other than advertising, and this is about censorship of ideas and censorship of voices and censorship of political views.
Like you said, conveniently timed for this election coming up.
Okay. So that's not really a conspiracy in and of itself, but just hear me out.
It gets more conspiracy now.
It gets weirder.
Yeah.
It gets more gluten-free. Yeah. Okay. So why news channels? Why ideas, right? So forgive me for not being able to ever say her name correctly. Susan Wojnicki.
Oh, that's as good as it's going to be said.
Susan
I can't say it better.
Susan Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh my God.
Susan Wojnicki.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who is a lovely woman, by the way. Yeah. I like her very much. Remember I did that thing at VidCon with her? I'm like, Susan, you look beautiful today.
I do remember. I was filming for you.
She was kind of nervous because she had to give like a keynote speech.
Yeah. Yep.
I have no personal problem with her. I think she's nice. But she has a long history with being friends with the Clinton family. Am I going to get in trouble for saying all of this? Here we go. I'm going to get in trouble.
It's a conspiracy theory. We're removing ourselves from this. We are not saying that this is some theory we believe in. We're offering it as maybe a thought because we're allowed to talk about thoughts on this podcast.
It's a thought. So she has been So she has been friends with the Clinton family for many, many, many years. This is well documented.
Yep.
Fundraisers that she's hosted with the Clintons, blah, 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 whatever. I would also like to point out that the Clinton administration, however you want to say it, the Clinton people, conveniently show up at places like VidCon.
They actually came up to us at VidCon this year.
They sure did. And
they tried to set up a meeting with you and them through me.
Okay, so side tangent, if I might. I made one vlog back during Vlogmas when I vlogged the one time, and said that I've been invited to do these things that you see YouTubers do. They go to the White House, they do chummy chum politics shit, and I'm just wholeheartedly against it because I think that it's fucked up. Whether or not you like it, celebrities that are, doing this whole political thing, sometimes it's nice when they're informed, but for the most part, they're just political puppets used to sway popular opinion or people's opinion that just, they don't bother making their own opinions. They're like, oh, my favorite actor likes that person and they're at that rally, so might as well vote for them. You know what I mean? Whether or not you want to agree with that, it is the case that people are swayed by celebrities or YouTubers, parading around in politics where I just don't think that it's your place. If you have a channel, if you're Phil DeFranco or you're someone that's very outspoken about politics, sure, go ahead. Please, by all means, do whatever you want. But for the rest of us YouTubers that don't really dabble in that shit, for you to go gallivant around in the political world, it's sort of a little irresponsible, in my opinion. Whatever. But I think that it's a little bit, it makes me feel uncomfortable when we go to these conventions and places and we see people from the Clinton administration just sort of walking around and introducing themselves, and because this is a video convention. Why are you guys here? Mm-hmm. Take that for what it is. CAA has someone working with them. My agency that I'm with, they have someone working with them that is very closely affiliated with the Clinton administration. And, that makes it so that Hillary Clinton can meet celebrities or whatever the fuck. And this is just me spewing absolute garbage that I don't really know anything about from my brain, but just take that for what it is. The Clinton administration has some tentacles in some entertainment places, if that makes sense.
Yes, which is
what I'm trying to say.
It's no conspiracy. That's well documented. That's out there.
Right.
People know that. Yeah.
Right. So I sat with the question again, why in 2016 are we all of a sudden having this thing where YouTube is unmonetizing news videos? So for any of you that know who Alex Jones is, Alex Jones runs his own InfoWars, Free Press. He was a complete conspiracy theorist, but a lot of those things have actually been proven to be more factual. He's not like
he's got clout a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of people like him.
Yeah.
I like to listen to him. I like to listen to super conservative people. I like to listen to super liberal people. I like to fill my brain with other people's opinions and theories because I think it helps me make my own.
Yeah.
But I have nothing against Alex Jones. But Hillary Clinton just recently name dropped him in a speech where she was talking about Alex Jones thinks that these people, that no one died in Sandy Hook and that these people are crisis actors. In order for her to name drop some sort of free press that runs mostly on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Just, if you don't know who Alex Jones is, maybe just sub in Philip DeFranco. It's like Hillary Clinton standing on a podium being like, this Philip DeFranco person thinks blah, blah, blah. And how dare they? Like, it's sort of jarring to hear a politician call out
the name of someone running a free press.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like she's attacking Fox or CBS or something.
Yeah. So the difference between a free press and something like Fox is that those giant news outlets have interests. Right. And they're never. And
they can also be bought and sold.
Exactly. And that's the reason why they're never. But that's everyone knows that. You're watching Fox. Everyone knows when they watch Fox News, they're not going to get the unfiltered
right. There's
news.
always a bias. There's always
a puppet hand behind closed doors telling people what to say, what to cover.
Which is well documented.
So that's what Jenna is saying makes this name drop so crazy, is that she's not saying, oh, Fox said this. She's saying a person of free press said this.
Right.
So think of it as someone said, Philip DeFranco. Not that Philip DeFranco is being compared to Alex Jones, but they are the same in that they are free press.
Right. It's calling out someone for their idea. Yeah. And it was jarring to me to hear that because she's like slamming someone that she knows she has no control over, no pull over. And okay, so stay with me. I know that was a lot.
Keep going.
Okay. I'm trying. So, oh man, just help me.
Name dropping a guy like that is going to inevitably lead people to go say, oh, who's Alex Jones? And they're going to go look him up. And that might cause the absolute opposite of what Hillary Clinton might have wanted.
Okay. Yeah. So I saw, this was not my quote, but I saw someone had written it, that Donald Trump is running his entire campaign on like the internet and memes and sound bites and vines and whatever. He's running a very new campaign.
Even if it's all against him.
Right. Even if it's all bad, it's not a traditional campaign. Yeah. Whereas Hillary Clinton is running a campaign straight out of 1994 and expecting it to work. And now it's crunch time and she's realizing that shit's getting fucked. Mm-hmm. And she's trying to address, free thoughts, because you can't just pay off the news networks and pay off and expect your little buddies to whatever anymore. You gotta fucking go for the jugular at those points. Whatever you're doing isn't working. You gotta do something more. So this is the theory, okay? And take it for what it is. And I might get in trouble for saying it. Please forgive me. It's just a fucking theory, okay? It's crazy. Hillary Clinton is fucking great friends with Susan Wojcicki. She recently went to a meeting with all of the higher ups of Facebook, the COO of Facebook, Twitter. I don't fucking know. Susan was there. Snapchat. I don't fucking know. Okay. In Silicon Valley, where fancy people meet about fancy things, recently had a meeting. And then several months later, all of a sudden YouTube comes out with this new policy where they're unmonetizing news channels and free thinking. Uh-huh. So the theory is that even if it's not Hillary Clinton, it's funny how in September of 2016, you're crippling people's ability to monetize their news-related videos, therefore, trying to crush or stifle ideas or stifling thoughts
all the free press
or anything that doesn't align with your particular political agenda.
Which is everything, because you can't control who's uploading on YouTube.
So imagine, this is the only way I can frame it. Imagine you're Hillary Clinton, right? And you got rich, powerful friends all across the world in all different kinds of places. And it is September of 2016. And, we got an election a couple months from now. Mind you, this probably happened a while ago in order for it to be executed now. I'm going to go ahead and call in those fucking favors. hey, Susan Wojnicki, I know you have been so hands-off for 10 years. But she didn't, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Hey, YouTube, I know that you've been hands-off with your content in 10 years, but people posting and saying whatever they want is destroying my fucking campaign right now. And people aren't tuning into the corrupt news anymore. They're getting their news on the internet. I need a way to control what people are saying and thinking.
What can you do
online?
Help me?
Yeah. Help me. Imagine.
Yeah.
It's just a theory.
Like we said earlier, guys, this is a conspiracy theory, and it's us just letting our thoughts kind of take us places, especially in a situation where something as serious as a channel like Phil DeFranco's being stifled in a way that it has been. That's like, crazy. You have to start thinking about why that's happening. You have to think
that if they implemented this, a fucking channel like Philip DeFranco's would get hit absolutely last.
Yeah.
Why is it getting hit fucking first? And in my opinion, the way that this was executed, it doesn't even seem like a secret that they're trying to take out news and free thinking.
Disguise it.
Because again, like I said, the reason why in the past 4, 6, however long under the Obama administration, they've been inviting these YouTubers into the White House is because they have acknowledged that these people have followings, they have their own ideas, and people listen to those ideas. Yeah. This might be a way to control who is saying what on the internet, how much, when, to whom, and if they can make money off of it. Yeah. It's the only way legally right now that they could maybe control people's opinions and control ideas, because ideas are very powerful.
Yeah. No, I like it. It's just take this with like 5 or 6 grains of salt.
Take it with a whole salt shaker, but just think about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
just think about it. I think
think about it in terms of that whoever the fuck already proved that Google searches were being wiped in regards to Hillary Clinton, that Twitter hashtags were being manipulated in regards to Hillary Clinton, that Facebook was being manipulated in terms of Hillary Clinton. Search terms, hashtags, all of those things were being manipulated.
There's been proven incidences.
This is documented
of censorship.
stuff.
Yeah.
So is it too much of a stretch to imagine now that there is some sort of manipulation going on within YouTube about who is making news and how and what are they saying? And can we cut them off at the knees and cut off their fucking funding? Can we cripple them? Because Philip DeFranco will be fine, but he's the exception to that. Because most people have not been on YouTube for a decade, gaining sponsors and
creating a business model.
Other forms of income so that you can survive. This might actually cripple some people who are using the platform as just free thoughts.
Yeah. And as crazy as this might sound, and as much as you might think this is far-fetched or whatever, which it is, I think it's crazier to not think about it. You know what I mean?
Just think about it.
Thinking about all possibilities, crazy or not, in a situation like this is kind of your duty as an internet person right now, especially if you're making your living on YouTube. You kind of have to think about every possible situation. Why the fuck is Philip DeFranco out of everyone getting hit? Why is this happening? Why are these people all across the board not getting touched by it?
Right.
Why is this answer not being answered, or this question not being answered? Why is no one talking about it? Why are half these people who I thought were part of this community suddenly backing up YouTube? What is going on? Right. It's very, very strange. And even stranger than a theory that something like that, where it's conspiracy theory, they're trying to pull strings for the election. Yeah, that's crazy. But what's crazier? You know what I mean? What's crazier? What's fucking crazier at this point? Because, after trying to think about all the options of what's what right now, that doesn't sound all that fucking crazy, to be honest. You know what I mean?
I never, ever in a million years imagined, it's always a scenario in your mind when you're making a lion's share of your income from one place that happens to be YouTube, or from another place. You're like, for me personally, this is not the case for all YouTubers. For me personally, the majority of my income comes from Google AdSense, which at any moment, for any reason, could just be ripped away from you, right? Yep. Which is why, like Phil said, many people have created secondary streams of income
weekly
for themselves.
Sponsorship, stuff like that. Yeah.
Anything. And I've built that. There's a lot of people that have, but it's not the majority.
No.
The majority of people that are earning money on YouTube enough to live off of, this is their reality. And so you imagine if this is ripped away from you, what would you do?
Yeah. It's hitting where a lot of people hurt.
I had a point and I totally forgot it. Okay, yeah, no, I never imagined in a million years if this day came where now all of a sudden they're cutting off people's incomes for one reason or another. I was like, you know who's going to be here? Philip motherfucking DeFranco. He reports the news. What a lovely person. Completely, like, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Never in a million years would I think that he is the one facing this day before all of the rest of fuck show, fuck shit on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fuck show, fuck shit on YouTube.
Yeah. That's a fair statement.
Like, think of all the garbage, the hate, the absolute, like, not even the Keemstar, not even the drama shit or making fun of other people. Like, the actual, like, horrifying stuff that's on YouTube.
Yeah.
Is still able to be monetized over Philip DeFranco.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
No, it doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me. I need answers. It makes no sense.
But yeah,
if I don't get answers, I'm just going to keep letting my brain go where it goes.
Well, okay. So long story short, when people were asking us, you know, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
And is it affecting you, or what do you have to say? For right now, it's not affecting me. It's affecting my brain and my ability to have trust and faith in the corporation that I'm working on and for, I guess. It hurts my heart a little bit to think about that conspiracy theory, or even the first theory that they are now cherry picking content, because I think that it's wrong. I think that it's censorship. I think any way that you cut it up, it's just a little bit corrupt.
Yeah,
and doesn't seem right.
If anything, it makes you feel uneasy, and it makes you feel like you're not safe.
Well, yeah. Anytime when someone's like, here, speak your mind, upload anything that you want, as long as it's not, you know, beating someone else up or just like you're straight asshole, please use this platform however you see fit. And now all of a sudden there's some clauses to that.
Yeah.
In order to earn money, that feels fucked up.
It does. It does. It's very strange. I don't know what else to say. It's And you know, if in a world where this is some sort of political monster at work right now, like, not saying it is, but in a world that it is, they're succeeding so well right now because they're making everyone else think it's about something else.
Right.
Like, YouTubers are fighting with each other.
Right.
It's just what we want.
Yes,
this is a giant distraction.
Exactly. That was my biggest problem, is that I tweeted out that one tweet and then nobody really, like, got on board with me. Nobody really was saying what I was saying. No one pointed out, like, this seems like a way to control news and thoughts and political ideas. No one wanted to go there. Everyone was just like, oh, snap, dude, your whole channel is going to get fucking deleted. I'm like, isn't that the most narcissistic way to think about this? That YouTube really cares that you said the word fuck in your video and doesn't want to split ad revenue with you because of it?
Yeah.
And everyone's tweeting about, like, oh, I'm screwed. Oh, I'm this, me that, me this. They don't care about individuals.
Yeah.
They care about impactful and powerful thoughts and ideas. Potentially, if you think of it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Those are the things that they want to cut off. Not your little video where you baked a cake and you said shit by accident.
Yeah. So this whole response they're getting is in this situation, it's
well, the response in and of itself seemed pretty narcissistic, if you ask me.
YouTube's a narcissistic place, though.
Like, you think they'd give a fuck that you just said fuck in that one fucking video from 2009? No.
Or every video since 2009.
You really think that they're going to go in there and change the entire terms of fucking service because you fucking said fuck one time and there's not an advertiser that wants to advertise on the word fuck? No. Not at all. Whatever. Okay, another theory, though, is that maybe they are just siding with advertisers and they just, people, I imagine that their system for advertisers, maybe I'm making this up, an advertiser goes on YouTube and is like, would you like to advertise on a video that talks about rape? And you'd be like, no, thank you.
Yeah, but that whole conundrum has existed for many years.
True.
That's not new. So for it to be changing so drastically is very odd, and it doesn't make sense. So we we need the answers to know what's going on. Wow, I just had deja vu.
Well, I mean, that's crazy. But can we be allowed to know the advertisers that don't want to put their ads on
DeFranco's videos?
Yeah, on the news like that? Can we know who these companies are so that we can not buy their products anymore?
That makes too much sense for us to know that.
And so that we can make fun of them on Twitter?
Bully them on Twitter.
Julian always says it's a complete joke, so don't get offended. But Julian, he'll see someone on TV that annoys him and goes, I want to find his Twitter account so I can bully him.
I never do it.
Never does. It's a joke.
But yeah.
It's a funny joke, though.
It is a funny joke. Anyway, guys, we'd love to hear your input. Please try to let us know in your brain what's happening, what your idea of what the answers are and why we're not getting answers and when we should get answers. I don't know. It's a very interesting situation. I feel like when make YouTube great again, that whole campaign, that whole Twitter thing, that push lasted for a few weeks, and then answers came. So I'm assuming that can only be the same here because this outrage seems bigger, as it should be. So, we felt like we had to address it. So thank you guys for listening to our thoughts. Thank you for the discussion, Jenna. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean,
thank you to our sponsors who support the show.
Thank you to our sponsors who support the wild fucking show theory I just threw out there. But yeah, I mean, take it for what it is. And I would love to know if you guys think anything differently, because this should be an open and honest discussion with each other and with YouTube. And yeah, I just threw out a wild fucking political conspiracy theory. But guess what? I should be allowed to say it because that's what this place is for, and I want to keep it that way. Yeah. So call me crazy, but this is the place for conspiracy theories. And if you want to cut off my ability to conspire, you're crazy. I will always conspire.
Also, shout out to SoundCloud and iTunes for never censoring us. We appreciate you.
True. Always. But yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
I feel a bundle of weird right now. I feel no closure. I feel a bundle of weird.
How can we make you feel better before we close this?
I don't know, fam. What about just like a hug?
Okay.
That'd be nice.
Hug it out.
Oh, thank you, Joey. Oh, that was a nice hug.
We should have just hugged for like 2 minutes straight. Made everyone feel really weird. I know last week I had said we have a guest coming this week, and we do have a guest coming, except it will be in next week's episode. The reason we switched him because we wanted this podcast to go up first because we feel like it's more pertinent. But we will have Sarah from The Challenge on next week's podcast.
She's dope.
Make sure you check that out.
She's so dope.
We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.